All right, we're live. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Dropping Dimes, the show where we talk about all things basketball. I'm your host, Rodrigo, but you can call me Rod. And joining me is a man who you know as Leo, but every Monday I call him 3O. Leo, how you doing, man?
I'm doing really well today. New platform, same squad. Let's
That's
get it.
right. We're very, very excited because we're on StreamYard and, bear with us. This will be a learning curve, but we'll get there. We'll get there. And we're very, very excited to use this. But also joining us, he has a photo with a young Anthony Davis when he was a Wildcat. Can you believe that? Blake, how are you, man?
I'm doing great, guys. Yeah, I saw that photo as soon as I woke up this morning. Brightness of joy, AD, definitely a good flashback when he was at the University of Kentucky. But no, I'm doing great. I echo Leah. I love this new platform we're doing here, the graphics. I'm excited to see how it goes.
We got our logo in one corner. We got our names over here that are not on Zoom. We can do like cool things like this. Oh, baby, we're upgrading over here.
Just
There we
shooting.
go. We're shooting.
Shoot for the
We're shooting our
prize.
shot.
Yeah.
All right, fellas. Well, let's talk about our early Christmas gift as NBA fans, and that is look at that, the in-season tournament. Let's go. Well, what a
Hey.
great transition,
Let's
guys.
go.
So today, actually, as we record on December 4th, the knockout round of the in-season tournament has already started, and we have the Celtics that are right now beating the Indiana Pacers. We're not going to spoil the game if it's over by before we end this recording, but we also got the Pelicans against the Kings, and then on the other side of the bracket, I guess on the West, we have Lakers against Phoenix tomorrow, December 5th. And then on the East, we have Bucks versus Knicks. But guys, I want to know, before it's all said and done, on your brackets, which teams do you have advancing? And then who you got winning it all in Las Vegas? So, Blake, why don't we start with you?
I have to say, I'm so excited now that we're in the bracket format for this in-season tournament. I know we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, just the excitement around it as a whole, just fans' feelings as well, too, what some players' thoughts have been. So really does have that kind of playoff vibe kind of coming to it as well, too. Even Tyrese Halliburton kind of talking about it recently on another podcast as well. But Rod, I have here, Rod and Leo, when I look at my bracket, what it's going to be moving forward, looking at tonight's games that are going on at the moment as well, too. I have the Celtics over the Pacers, so I think the Celtics are going to pull this one out as well, too. Again, one of my favorite teams right now in the NBA in terms of how they're playing. The second game, I do have the Sacramento Kings prevailing over the New Orleans Pelicans. I think D. Fox, Sabonis, I think they're going to have both great games tonight as well, too. I think they're going to prevail on that end. Tomorrow, which I'm sure for you, Rod, is the one that you're highly anticipating.
Big day
the number
tomorrow,
one
yes.
seed, the Los Angeles Lakers, who are going to be defeated by the Phoenix Suns tomorrow. It is going to happen. The Phoenix Suns, I see prevailing, taking out the number one seed in the West, the Los Angeles Lakers. I think KD going to overmatch them within that as well, too. The Lakers, I think it will be a close game within that as well, too. An exciting one, but I do see the Suns pulling it out. And then finally, I do see kind of the second game there. I have actually the Bucks over the Knicks as well, too. So I think Milwaukee will pull that out. And move on. And then after that, I have between the Suns Kings, I have the Suns prevailing going to the championship game on Saturday. And then I have the Celtics over the Bucks as well, too. So my final game there, the Boston Celtics and the Phoenix Suns, and my champion, who I will see is going to win the first ever in-season tournament in NBA history and set a precedent is the Boston Celtics. The Boston Celtics are going to prevail. They're going to become the champions. Jason Tatum going to have 35 points. Book it, 35 in the bag in the championship game, and the Celtics are going to be your champions.
Wow. I feel like those picks are not controversial at all. I feel like there are very safe picks, Blake. Celtics winning it all. Everybody's talking about the Celtics winning it all, Chuck guaranteeing that the Celtics are going to win the championships this year. Well, I'm here to tell you guys that I'm about to bust those brackets. I actually have Tyrese Halliburton single-handedly defeating the Celtics tonight. And the game is going on live right now.
Yeah,
and I know
so we'll see if the Oracle is still around.
Yeah, I know it's a bit of a controversial take, but 2023 has been a weird year. You know, it's been a weird year, and the Pacers are looking nice. One of the biggest like offensive ratings like we've ever seen. Tyrese Haliburton is playing like a Steve Nash, but like this era. So like, let's give it to the Pacers right now. I'm going with the Pacers tonight over the Celtics. I'm feeling the Pacers. And then over on the other side for the other game tonight, I love my Beam team, but I'm really enjoying what Zion's doing out there with BI.
Oh.
And I just don't know if anybody's going to be able to stop Zion tonight. So really close game, but I think I got the Pelicans coming out of that.
Ooh,
And
okay.
yeah, we'll move on over to tomorrow's games. And you know, the one that everybody's got their eyes on, the LeBron versus the KD. And I'm gonna have to agree with you on this one. I think the Phoenix Suns are gonna come out of that one, unfortunately, Rod. I'm sorry. And
There we go.
yeah, Julius Randle has been playing out of his mind lately. The New York Knicks are playing really good basketball, but you cannot count out Dame time, and Giannis is gonna be there. So I've got the Bucks coming out of that one, and then that leaves me with a Bucks versus Pacers semifinal, and I think the Bucks got that. And then on the other side, I've got the Suns and the Pels, and I think I got the Pelicans coming out of that. I'm liking this wave
Ooh.
of, you know, changing of the old guard and in with the new. You know, we're getting to the end of the year here, and I'm feeling like it's the NBA needs a revamp. You know, so ultimately, though, I do have the Bucks coming up on top. So that's what I got, boys.
The Pelicans in the final. Look at that, Leo.
Yeah, I mean, the Oracle is trying to show up here. We'll see if that happens, man. I don't know.
You heard it here first.
If
StreamYard.
that happens, remember our statue conversation debate last year. Give Leo a statue if this happens.
If the Pelicans make it to the finals, Leo deserves one outside the Smoothie King. I don't care what you call it these days, that arena, but Leo would need one there.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you for that. You know, the beauty of having this new platform is that you can add those banners, those beautiful banners that we just saw. I have some breaking news. This is just in, like literally just in. Blake and Leo are no longer working on dropping dimes.
What is this?
Guys, I'm gonna address it. I'm gonna address the elephant in the room. You are seeing it. There is no way in hell that LeBron James is not taking that trip to Vegas. Guys, the Phoenix Suns were in the same group as the Los Angeles Lakers. And who were the only team that were able to beat the Suns? The Lakers. And that's going to happen tomorrow as well. I don't care who they got in the lineup. The Lakers are moving on and they're going to go to Vegas, period. You know, Chuck says guarantee. I say take my prediction to the bank and then cash it in Vegas. Because, baby, we're going gambling in Vegas with that money.
Wow. Okay, Rod.
I'm feeling myself.
Doesn't even start talking about today's games. Goes right into his Lakers. I don't know. I don't know.
Through those first two, went straight into
it.
Yeah.
I'll get into it. So on tonight's game, I mean, I don't know how excited. I'm not looking at the scoreboard right now, but I saw at least until the halftime, the Pacers were giving the Celtics a run for their money, but you know what? I think the Celtics got this one. So good for the Pacers, but I'm gonna go with the Celtics there. Now, Kings versus Pelicans, tough one. Young teams, they both like to run. I think the Pelicans are arguably more aggressive than the Kings. So even though I would love to pick the Pelicans, I still think we're gonna light up the beam. The Kings are a bit more seasoned. I don't know. It's going to take a lot from the Pelicans, but, you know, I'm wearing purple. So shout out to my brothers in purple, the Kings. They're going to move on for now. And then on the other side, no surprises on the other game tomorrow, Knicks versus Bucks. If anything, I know last week we talked about the Bucks and we were a little bit concerned about them, but they have really good defense. They're still the best clutch team in the NBA. They have the best defense in the fourth quarter. So I'm going to go with the Bucks. I think that's a safe bet. So on the East, I'm going, you know, conservative. Celtics and Bucks, then Lakers and Kings. Now, who's coming out of those? Great question, guys. I'm glad that you asked. I'm gonna go with a classic match from the 80s. Come on, guys. We're not gonna get this final in the regular season. So this is the closest that we're gonna get to a Lakers Celtics finals, and it's gonna
Ooh.
happen. Lakers versus Celtics are moving, and they're playing in Las Vegas in the inaugural in-season tournament. And then the Lakers, just like in Showtime, they're gonna win it all. Period.
Ooh, okay.
All right. Okay, we'll see.
I can give you a chips voucher that you get at the slot machines. I'll give it in advance, and you can cash it in already, boys.
Yeah, I've got Buddy Hield hitting the 3 for the win tonight. So I'm sorry. That's not.
Ooh.
I mean,
there we go.
If
Yeah.
that
Got
happens,
some
I'm
prop
gonna be
bets
super
coming here.
impressed.
Yeah. I can feel it in the air. You know, it's an indie season.
There we go.
I'm surprised a little bit that neither of you have the Lakers moving on, to be honest.
So I will say it's not that I don't think that they had the potential to certainly do that. I mean, obviously, like you said, they're the number 1 seed. You know, they are. You know, they have that great potential that I think could make it to the finals. I just don't see them overcoming the Phoenix Suns throughout that too. I think the Suns are playing a bit better right now, you know, lately than the Los Angeles Lakers from that as well too. You are right; the Lakers did prevail when it comes to the group within that as well too. But I just really see kind of KD coming up clutch in that game tomorrow as well too. I think it will be close. I don't think it's going to be a blowout by any means, or you know, a 10-point victory. I think it is going to be a close game. I mean, I have to say, it'd be an amazing story to see a Lakers Celtics final. I have to admit, you got to imagine the NBA.
We all want it. We all want
everybody's going to really pump that up too, in terms of if that does come to fruition as well too. Within it'd be super exciting. But yeah, I see Phoenix really pulling out that game.
If that doesn't happen, if there's not a Lakers Celtics finals, this was all rigged, and I don't ever want to see this thing again.
I feel like if there is a Lakers Celtics finals, then it is rigged. You know?
No. It's the other way, man. It's the other way.
No, I don't think so. I'm looking. Come on now.
But I can say now. Go ahead.
I have to say too, like, just look at some teams, like, it's like a pretty exciting like, you know, bracket when you kind of look at just like the teams that are there. I mean, obviously these teams are playing really pretty good basketball right now in terms of just the regular season standings as well too. But you got a kind of a mixture of teams that like you expect to be quote unquote title contenders in the NBA this season, or to really kind of make a deep run in the playoffs. But then you have some exciting teams like Leo was talking about. You know, the Pacers are a fun team to watch. You know, Halliburton just so amazing, just like seeing him. I mean, highlight reel every night. I mean, just the assist turnover ratio he has, and just the games he's been putting up as well too. The Knicks that are kind of obviously an exciting team with Brunson and Randall as well too. The Pelicans, like it's kind of a cool mix when you kind of see like the quote unquote underdogs. I'm not saying they're underdogs, like they're not teams that can't win by any means, but just a good mixture to kind of topple, you know, hopefully some of those quote unquote heavyweights of the Bucks, or, you know, the Pacers or the Celtics, excuse me, from that end.
Yeah, I just think that, like, on like I guess like on a deeper note, that, you know, I think this is the year where we're starting to see a decline in a lot of like teams we expect to be right up there. You know, the Warriors being one of those teams where I think that dynasty is over, and it's simply because the superstars of the yesterdays are just getting older, and so it's really fun to see teams like Indiana Pacers really using their youth to their advantage by running an offense with a elite point guard, just doing this run and gun style and opening up the whole court, and like having everybody be able to shoot the three. It's just really neat to see that, you know, the coaches are making adjustments and it's working, because who would have thought Indiana was going to be in this stage right now, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And overall, I think, you know, and truly, I was joking when I said that I didn't want to see, like, the in-season tournament turned out to be a great product, at least in this, you know, launching phase.
Yeah,
because it gave these early games, you know, weight and a reason for all of us that are, you know, longtime fans of the NBA, but also new fans to, you know, care a little bit more for the beginning of the season. We all know also that, you know, all or most of the contenders and teams start taking things seriously after the All-Star break or after the New Year's break. So this was a really nice way to, for the players, for us as fans, for everyone to sort of take it seriously or a little bit more seriously.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like, we were kind of all stuck in watching the NBA season the same way that we usually do, right?
Yeah.
You get really excited about the start of the season. You follow for 2, 3, 4 weeks, and then there's a bit of a lull because the holidays are around and other things are going on. Then you got your Christmas games, great. But then what's after that? You're going to the All-Star, okay. And then after that, that's when people really start paying attention. Whereas I feel like I've been paying attention this whole time, just because of the introduction of this. And this will go right into kind of the break, the Christmas. Yeah, it's great. The NBA did a really good thing here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. But the thing with me is, and I keep going back and forth on the tournament, is like the time frame on it. Like I think I know where I settle, where my kind of feelings go with it. But like you said, Leo, it's been great that just the excitement early on in the NBA season. You have so many things kind of to look forward to early with the in-season tournament, and then you have, like you said, the Christmas games, the All-Star break. But sometimes I also wonder, like, for the NBA's perspective, how are they going to ensure that this excitement for the tournament and talking about it will continue on going forward as well too, just because you have so much basketball left after this ends this Saturday. You have, essentially 6 months of basketball in the season left, including the playoffs. Like, how you're going to keep that excitement going into next season, right? And again, you have All-Star game and things like that, but you look at some other, again, not trying to compare sports, but when you kind of look at soccer, football, for example, that has a lot of these kind of similar cups or tournaments, they go all the way through typically the month of, they start in September and usually the final is in the month of April or May. Now, that may not correspond well from an NBA season perspective, but like, how do you keep building that excitement from a longevity standpoint? And I think it's good. I like, maybe right now, I think I'm on the essence. It's good to end it where it is, but just making sure that it's still going to be talked about. Because, like, is this going to be off our minds for 9 months, right? Like
That's a very good point.
Next October comes around. Oh, in-season tournament's back. Like, how do you keep that excitement building?
It did feel like the group stage was really short, at least in my opinion. But again, I think like you mentioned, Blake, we happen to watch a little bit of soccer. I think at this point you watch a lot more soccer than I do, to be honest. Where the cup, happens, throughout the season as well. So this one felt really short, but it was sort of like nice and sweet as a pilot. So I'll give him that. But yeah, I think you're right. Because then after this, it's Leo mentioned it, right? It's the Christmas games. Then you were basically then All-Star, and then it's playoff race and in-season tournament. So yeah, I don't know if there's space for everything, to be honest, because maybe pushing it more into late December, potentially maybe January, but then after that, I don't think there's enough space for the playoff race, for the in-season tournament race, and then the in-season tournament.
Well, I mean, they are just launching it this year, for the first time, and so they're going to work out a lot of kinks. And I think you're right, Blake. Like, are we going to be talking about the in-season tournament after this Saturday? Who knows? But I will say it. If they did stretch it out longer, it wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing, because these are just regular season games, right? Like, there is this like air of excitement about it, but it's not like they're rescheduling too many things outside of going to Vegas for this like mini final. Outside of their 82 season, 82 game regular season game. So, we'll see how it goes. We're, NBA, hire us. We got it. Like we'll figure out the whole plan for you to keep every person that watches the NBA excited and engaged.
Before we move on, I have one last final question for you guys. Whatever team wins the in-season tournament, should they also raise a banner afterwards?
Ooh.
I think so. I think if the NBA is really trying to make a a splash with something like this from fan engagement, from excitement around the season or just basketball as a whole, I think they have to take it that serious, right? And again, not trying to compare sports all the time, but when you look at other professions of sports that have cups, tournaments, they have trophies, they have, sometimes banners that are raised. I think to legitimize the in-season tournament itself, you should celebrate that, right? Like moving forward, if this is something they're trying to do every single year, I think you should. Otherwise, it's just, yeah, we get extra 500 grand in the back. Don't get me wrong, it's a lot of money, but just as in a sense, like you have to legitimize this somehow, and I think to put that on there, you have to.
But sorry, Leo, go ahead. What do you think?
No. You go ahead.
Does it? I'm not for it yet because. Just for being a traditionalist, and I don't want to spend too much time on this, but it would be like those teams that hang, their division banners, right? They don't have the same weight in my eyes. So, yeah, the trophy was unveiled today. It's a nice looking trophy. I would say, yeah, display it to your fans, whatever. But I don't know if a banner feels right yet. I would say, maybe put it somewhere inside the arena, or I know the Lakers were trying to do like their stars around for their championships. Maybe change the color of it. I don't know. Make it special, yes, but maybe not a banner yet.
Yeah. I have I feel like there should be more than just like monetary gains and a really nice trophy for winning this in-season tournament. And I almost feel like coming into like the second half of the season, maybe like the bottom 8 teams of like each conference should be playing in another in-season tournament to try and get like a draft pick or something, later down the line. So then like you keep audience like watching also the kind of quote unquote bad teams of the NBA, just so there's a bit of excitement around it, because everybody is really tuned in to the in-season tournament. So just a way to get people thinking about the in-season tournament still, but also like keeping engaged with all 30 teams in the NBA would be huge, because as well as I do that like most people are paying attention to the top heavy teams on either side of the conference. So yeah, a bit more exposure would be nice for some of these smaller market teams, but that's just me spitballing here.
All right, fellas. Well, we'll find out. After, basically on Wednesday, we'll know who the semifinalists are, and then who's going to play in Vegas on December 9th. And I'm sure that, we'll have yet another round of predictions for when the Lakers are going to actually raise the title. I'm sorry, I said the Lakers.
Pacers, Bucks.
We'll see. All right, fellas. Very quickly, this happened somehow over the weekend, but it seems like the sneaker wars are still a thing. And I don't know if anyone listening or eventually watching this, man, I can say that now, and it makes sense that people are going to watch this. Pay attention to the headlines. But Anthony Edwards debuted, or there was an event where he debuted his new shoes with Adidas, the AE1s. Not the most creative name, but hey, who am I to judge? And then he said that he would love to see Kevin Durant playing one day in one of these, right? And to which Kevin Durant then on Twitter said, and I quote, and I don't know how YouTube is going to feel eventually about this, but I'm going to self-bleep. Won't ever see me put a big toe in them MFers. So that was already, I mean, it's also KD, so you kind of take it not with a grain of salt, but you go like, that's KD being KD, and he's always been sort of on Nike side. But then that's not the end, guys. I'm sure that you saw this. The official account for Adidas replied saying, "You dusty bottle retire soon anyway." With and I'm literally, I'm not paraphrasing. It's you, the letter U, dusty Bauda, retire soon anyway.
Wow.
And then they immediately deleted that. I don't know. I actually don't know how long it stayed there or live on X, formerly known as Twitter. But then everyone saw it. Everyone took screenshots. The
It's
tweet was
out there.
bookmarked.
Mm-hmm.
They deleted it, and then the same account said meant to send that from the burner account. ... So kind of a two birds in one. So
Yeah.
guys, very quick thoughts on Oh, there was also the Adidas CEO went to this conference where Adidas got a trophy for best sneaker of the year for the Sambas, which if you ask me, it's like Converse getting a shoe or a trophy for the Converse for the Chuck Taylors. It's like there's nothing new about them. Anyways, that's my opinion. But they also said Nike better watch out. We have a lot on the pipeline. Now, guys, are the sneaker wars still a thing? Am I making a big deal out of this? What do you think?
I think they are a thing, honestly, and I think it's because Nike is kind of slacking these days and not signing the right people. If I'm gonna
Okay.
be blunt.
Okay.
A lot of rumors out there saying, Anthony Edwards is going to be the next MJ here, and I kind of believe it. He's got the skill set, he's got the personality, he's got the swag. The shoes look nice. They're a little futuristic for me personally, but I could see the young kids liking them. Saying like, I'm done with Nikes and moving on to the new wave of maybe Adidas shoes. And yeah, he's just so marketable, and I think that's all it is here, right? It's not so much a battle of Nike versus Adidas, but really just who is the next one up. And it's so clear to me that it's Anthony Edwards. So that's all I'm taking out of that.
I mean,
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Blake.
Let's say I think it's definitely a thing, right? I mean, and this is exciting. I feel like we're all three sneakerheads. We definitely message in the WhatsApp group, sending over some great new kicks that come out, our thoughts on them as well too. So this just really kind of helps continue that along, because like as true, basketball fans, as true, sneakerhead fans, like this is something you love, that back and forth, that banter, and as companies too, right? Like it kind of is in my opinion, a good publicity and things for them to kind of be a part of in some sense, as well too, obviously, as long as it's done appropriately. But like, I think, I don't personally obviously know KD and Ant's, relationship. I like to think there's some fun within KD's tweet to that too. I'm sure
I thought so too, because Anna asked me about that, and I was like, I think that was tongue in cheek, honestly.
Yeah, I think Ant was like, probably laughing. I think it's one of those like you never know what the person's real thing is unless you're there in person, right, to see their facial expression and how they interpret it, right. So I think there was some good tongue in cheek in that. I mean, shout out to whoever's at Adidas to kind of do that fun kind of quip back and forth too on the tweets. I mean, is Adidas?
I don't know.
Are they
I think
are they the next Wendy's of X? With their fun things that they do to made a name for themselves through posts like that too. I don't know how the higher ups feel about that. If that was intentional, if whoever's their social media person just went on a whim and rolled. I think
their community manager was done by the end of the day. Whether it got them the attention they wanted or not, I don't know if that's.
Do we know also as well? I'm just saying that from an honest perspective. No, I didn't research. Was it? Do we know what happened to that person?
I was doing research because I was just curious. From both. This is somewhat that I somewhat do on my 9 to 5, and obviously sneakers and basketball. I was like, I'm all over this story, and sadly, I couldn't figure out whether there was an intern, a full-time employee, and what happened to them. I hope not. I hope that didn't get fired. Although, if they did, I mean, I can see also the reasons why that, Adidas must have some sort of code of conduct, yada, 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 yada.
Yeah. The only reason I asked too is because that second follow-up tweet, did that from my burner account. Like you would think if this person was getting in trouble, they wouldn't send that as a follow-up or at least have some thought behind that. I mean, who knows?
Kudos to them for just sticking to the shtick, right? To the thing. Because they were like, oh, we messed it up, but like, hey, we're going to double down on this.
It honestly, to me, feels like a genius move. Like, you know how like when the first Air Jordans came out and, there was this whole thing about the NBA fining them and Nike said, we'll pay every fine for you to wear that shoe or whatever the case that was. Genius marketing, right? Got people talking about the shoe, got people wanting the shoe. And now I think like, with this new generation, this kind of feels like that a little bit, you know, just like a little opportunity here to fire back a little bit at a Nike athlete, and they did, and they doubled down on it, and you know, we're talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here we are.
Well,
Yeah.
go ahead. Go ahead.
I would say, and if you're Adidas, right? Like, you know, look at this. Like Anthony Edwards is, you know, the premier catch you want right now. Like as an athlete, like when it comes to shoe deals and things like that as well too. I mean, this is the future of the NBA. You know, one of the critical piece. Like, and when you have somebody else, whether it's tongue in cheek or not, kind of like downplaying the shoe, you can't just go quiet on that. I mean, this is your premier person. Like you have to make some sort of response.
Absolutely.
Let me ask you guys: are you brand loyal when it comes to sneakers? Do you shop around? I know we've talked about sneakers a few times, but you know, this whole controversy. I mean, controversy to a degree, but it got me thinking. Everyone here knows that I'm pretty loyal to Nike. I like their products. I don't stick to just one shoe, but I rarely go outside. I've got some Melos, some Pumas, and but for Adidas, it's been a long time. I think since T Mac was around with them, that I bought a shoe from Adidas, and I would actually buy Leanings, like the Way of Weights, first. Right now, there is not a shoe from Adidas that I go like, oh yes, I want that one. Maybe the Donovan Mitchells, the Dons, or the James Harden ones. I actually hate how they look. They look like house slippers. But that's just me again. But what about you guys? Do you usually stick to your brand, or do you don't care and just go with whatever you feel is right for you?
Yeah, Blake, you can go right ahead with that.
I think for me, it's interesting. Throughout my youth, I wasn't brand loyal. I just picked whatever shoe. I loved the athlete, right? Have the Iversons, the T Max, the Jordans, etc. But that was more for like casual wear. But I would also wear those, to play basketball in as well too. But as I've gotten older, from true like what I play ball in, it's Nike, and I feel pretty brand loyal. I just like the way that the shoes hold up typically as well too. And honestly, some of the Nike shoes that I wear to actually hoop in aren't maybe my favorite, even from just from a straight look standpoint, but I just like the way the shoe feels and how it performs. Like when I've tried it out as well too. But I will get some other ones every now and again, just for like to wear, out and about casually. But I'm pretty loyal to it when it actually comes strictly playing ball to Nike right now.
Yeah, I actually think I agree with that. I'm right there with you guys. I had some Adidas growing up. I had I think the Garnett ones or something. And they were just a little too narrow for me. And ever since then, I thought all Adidas shoes, whenever I tried them on, were just a little too narrow for me. So performance-wise, I do really enjoy a Nike shoe. I've been hooping in Nikes for the last, 10 years. But this season actually was the first time that I switched it up and got my first pair of Lukas.
I've seen them.
Yeah, and gotta say they were a bit tough to play with at first, but once they loosened up, I like the feel of them. And now that I've explored a little bit outside the Nike realm, I think I might, try other brands out. Just purely on a performance thing,
It's not that I want to call you out, Leo, because I don't. But Jordan, saying like, "Oh, I explore outside of Nike," and I went with Jordan. It's like, oh, well, don't be so adventurous. Like, whoa, now.
Whoa.
You went to Jordan from Nikes. Holy.
They are very different,
absolutely.
What shoe feels like a Nike athlete shoe? I don't think any of them do. They've got their own tech. They've got their own even foam. They've got their whole shtick that's, their own thing. So it's a different brand, and it's a different shoe.
That is true. I mean, technically, it's a different brand for sure.
Well, honestly, the next shoe I am looking at is the Kyrie's. What Anta's going to do with that. I feel like every Kyrie shoe I've ever played in has been 100%. An amazing shoe. And so for shiftier guards like myself, I feel like any Kyrie shoe from any brand will just be amazing. And I actually really do like the AE ones. Like I'm thinking about maybe getting the Anthony Edwards. They've got nice herringbone traction on the bottom, which I love. A lot of shoes don't have that anymore. I don't really know how I feel about the sock lining thing, but like I do like the look of them, and I do really like Anthony Edwards. So maybe you'll catch me hooping in a pair of Adidas sometime soon.
There we go.
If I have
That's
a
it.
shoe in my bucket list, sorry, Blake, very quickly. The Sabrina ones. I love how they look. I don't
Those
care
are
how they
nice.
perform. I just want to have a pair on my feet.
Yeah, the Sabrina ones are looking nice
They're
as
good.
well. They look
Yep.
like a Kyrie shoe. That's the
Yeah,
thing. I feel like
that's the
they-
thing. It looks like a nice mid. Like I really, really want to get a pair, but they're sold out everywhere in Canada that I've seen. at
US,
least.
it's hard to find too. Yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes.
Really,
Yeah.
eh? Yeah.
I mean, you
They
can still
exploded.
maybe not. I don't really know if it's as hard maybe in Canada right now, or I mean, compared to Canada, but a lot of times they are kind of sold out in some places I've been checking.
Yeah. I think it's really cool that we have a WNBA player selling out shoes that
100%.
everybody is
Definitely.
and like I definitely took a look at those and I'd be like, it'd be really cool to hoop in those. You know,
For sure.
they look like they'd be really great performers as well. So yeah.
Mhm.
One last thing about the shoes, and that is the news that also came out today is my pick for most improved player. Who, God, I wish I could take that back. My man Austin Reeves. He signed an extension for his signature shoe with the brand Rigorer
Mhm.
out of China. But the important thing about this deal, well, it's the number of zeros. It's a 7-figure deal, but
Wow.
it also includes annual equity, which makes him basically a stakeholder, literally, of the brand.
Wow.
So, you know,
Mm.
there's been
They're really riding the eh?
and
Yeah,
there's
definitely.
been brands, like Li-Ning that have sponsored athletes here and there, and
Yep.
Anta, and
Mhm.
Now Rigor that and Austin Reeves is their signature player, and they're really betting on him. So
Mhm.
this just demonstrates a little bit of the diversity, I guess, that we have now as consumers. Having
Yeah.
said that, because I was really curious about this whole thing with Adidas, et cetera, et cetera. And I don't know how reliable this information is. This is from Statista.com, and I have it on my phone. But last year, and this is, I guess, published revenue from, published sales in revenue from brands. And how far do you guys think that, or actually, which brand do you think went number one?
Nike. It's got to be Nike.
Yeah. Revenue.
Yeah, and then right after that,
I want to say Adidas, but maybe Puma.
Is Jordan considered separate from Nike?
not on this report that I have.
So it's not considered separate. Okay.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it a Chinese brand? Is it Li-Ning?
No, it is Adidas. It is Adidas.
Oh, okay.
But here's the thing that impressed me the most. And again, this is from 2022. I don't know. The site didn't have any 23 numbers, but Adidas reported 13.1 billion sales.
Wow.
But do you want to guess how far Nike was?
I would say Nike. I mean, to be honest, like I would say at least double, to be honest.
Yeah.
Almost 29.1 billion sales.
Wow.
Crazy.
So yes, and what was surprising to me, and again, this is supposedly, allegedly, worldwide sales. I don't know about that. I'll give you the breakdown. So it's Nike number one, and then Adidas, then Skechers.
Oh, cool.
I don't know how. I don't know why. Then Puma, then Asics, then Converse, which makes me question this because Converse is technically part of Nike, and then Under Armour. But it doesn't have any other Chinese companies, which I don't know if those numbers are treated differently or was it, or they just don't have them. But yeah, interesting stuff about the sneaker wars. I was thinking that Adidas was closing the gap, to be entirely honest, just out of the sheer number of athletes that they have signed recently. Trae Young, Donovan Mitchell, Damian Lillard, now Anthony Edwards, but Nike's still sort of king, I suppose.
Yeah.
What? And this is just strictly shoes sales, correct? Like revenue?
Yes.
Okay. Does it say basketball shoes or just shoes as a whole?
It just says worldwide footwear sales of selected sports brand in 2022.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
in my mind, I'm just thinking like, especially like, like Adidas as well too, because I can certainly see your point, right? Like, from like some other sports, right? Like when you kind of look at like Adidas, they're huge when it comes to like some soccer teams and branding and things like that as well too. It's like getting cleats, would definitely be, something that would drive up sales from that too. Asics, obviously from a running standpoint. So yeah, but interesting things. Yeah, I'd be curious to see if the Chinese companies go up in the future.
Yeah. I would love to hoop in a pair of Asics, honestly. I've seen a couple of pairs online floating around. They're hard to come by in Canada, but I have been trying to get my hands on a pair of ASIC basketball shoes because they look
I
really
just bought a pair of Asics. I don't know if they were meant for basketball, but they had a lot of basketball colorways. They had like the Lakers and the Knicks. Anyways,
Yeah.
I'll show you guys a photo later on our WhatsApp group.
Mhm.
But they feel great. I don't know if I would take them out on the court. But yeah, and they're not. You're right. We don't have a whole lot of Asics here.
Yeah, but they do have like a basketball subdivision that's like maybe exclusively in Japan or something, and like so they do make basketball shoes, which is like amazing. I would love to get my hands on a pair of those.
Just want to give a shout out to Stefan Marbury. I don't know why we were talking about some of these things. I was thinking about the Marbury shoes in my mind.
The Starburys, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why that popped up.
Stephen Marbury, Shaq, Patrick Ewing. Who else can I think that started their own shoes, their own shoe company? Yeah.
Aaron Gordon's got a shoe out there, eh? Did you guys know that?
Aaron Gordon. I got to go back and look. I don't remember what it looks like though.
Yeah. The AG ones. I forget which Chinese.
Spencer Dinwiddie also tried to. Was it him that tried to launch his own brand as well?
Yeah. I think also Jamal Crawford had a shoe.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe that's for a trivia episode that we try to name all the athletes or NBA athletes that release their own shoe on their own.
Yeah. So Aaron Gordon signed with a company called 361 Degrees.
Oh Lord. Okay.
Yeah. And they're
yeah.
all right.
The conclusion of this episode is Nike. We're right here.
We are right here. I'm definitely
ready for it.
Yeah.
Send us a couple pair of those Sabrinas.
Or Jordan, we don't even want to be sponsored. Just send us a pair in, a year, and we'll be happy with that.
Yeah.
We'll do a performance review on them.
Yeah. Or even Asics, right? We talked about the need to get more some Canadian publicity. We got 2 ambassadors right here in Canada and 3 with Tay. I mean, let's get this going.
Yeah.
The 4 of us, just let's make it happen. All right, fellas. Well, we have a bit of a shorter. Actually, it's not that short. It ended up being a full episode for this week. But as always, make sure that you're following us on Instagram at dropping.dimes, and make sure that you follow us wherever you get your podcast, Spotify, Amazon Music. We're everywhere. Just make sure you follow us. Give us that 5-star rating, please, please, please. Make sure that, if you want to catch up on episodes, go to our website, www.dropping-dimes.com. If you want to get a hold of us, contact at dropping-dimes.com, or simply send us a DM on Instagram. We're going to put out a lot more reels. I see that, the latest one that we did for Dime of the Week is doing pretty well. So I'm going to continue doing that. And we have a few more planned here. So until next week, where we finally go live on StreamYard. This is the Dropping Dimes crew signing off. Peace, love, basketball. Adios.
Peace.